into one of our favorite features on a Monday afternoon, and that is, of course, Money Matters, brought to you by DCGsa. By the way, should you have any questions or anything of that nature, please do get in touch. 072
Was proudly brought to you by DCGsa, finding solutions to your debt problems. Talk to us for professional, affordable assistance.
Right, Casper is back in the building for Money Matters, brought to you by DCGsa. Casper, good afternoon. Welcome back. Always a pleasure having you in studio. What an awesome time on Saturday.
It was fun.
It was absolutely beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
And I
much
see
fun.
you enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, it's nice, from
Mhm.
from DCG side. It's always about community.
Yep.
And what's more about community than our kids? So we had a bit of a bubble house going there, balloons, kids were having fun. And then, we didn't ask anything for it. All that we ask is, give to a charity if you feel like.
Yeah.
And obviously that charity on the day was Guardians of Hope. That obviously needs us money. So it's all about community, just like Link FM. It's building that community, getting people talking, having fun, keeping your kids entertained. And how much fun was that day? And how busy, how many vendors, how much food. There was too much food to pick from. I wish I could go every day for the next 3 months that I can have at least one of those vendors
Oh my
items,
goodness.
eh?
Yo, they would have to roll you out of the studio for it to happen.
That's what I say. At least over a 3-month period, we must try all of it.
All right, awesome stuff. It is Money Matters time, right here on Link FM, brought to you by Debt Counseling Group South Africa, reducing consumer debt and stress for 15 years. Absolutely. Now, this is the topic we're about to get into is incredibly important for homeowners. What happens when you fall behind on your bond payments and wait too long to get help? Let's find out. Joining us again, as always, Casper Legrand, seasoned debt counselor who's been helping South Africans navigate debt since 2010. Casper, welcome back. Always a pleasure. Man. How are you doing?
I'm blessed, Mr. K. Thank you, man. And hopefully today we can help some listeners avoid a situation that can become very stressful. And I mean, how more stressful can it get when the roof over your head is involved? So losing their home is not something anybody wants to deal with. So please listen to this conversation. And if you are behind on payments, receive the legal letter, or if you see yourself falling behind in the very near future, maybe you're even missing, a credit card payment or a store account payment. So just to cover those bonds, or maybe using a credit card to cover that bond installment, then you should listen. No shame in it, just answers to help you get through it all with a smile.
Now, Casper, let's start with something we see very often. Someone misses one bond payment or they short pay, then another can't keep up and, misses another payment. Instead of asking for help, they start ignoring the calls and emails and letters. Why do we do that?
It's usually fear embarrassment, You don't want to deal with it. We used to say back in the day, don't use the ostrich method. Don't stick your head in the sand and hope the problem goes away. People feel ashamed and they are falling behind and they avoid the bank's calls and letters, hoping the problem will somehow fix itself. That's our typical South African way to do it. Or they are just overwhelmed by the situation and they pretend it doesn't exist. But ignoring the problem is actually the worst thing that somebody can do.
Absolutely.
The bank system continues running in the background. The arrears grow. That snowball keeps on accumulating. Interest keeps on accumulating. And eventually the legal process starts. So many people only react when the sheriff arrives or when they hear their house may be auctioned. By that stage, the stress is enormous and the options are often very, very limited.
Now, one of the warning signs, Casper, is something called a Section 129 letter. What exactly is it?
So a Section 129 letter is that letter of default. So a credit provider must inform you in writing, listen, Mr. K, you are behind. Please catch up. Or, if you're not happy that we are saying you're behind, you have options. But unfortunately, many people don't read as far. They just avoid those letters in general. So it's incredibly important to read that letter carefully. Many people leave it unopened or push it aside because they're scared of what it says. But it's so important to open it. So here are the key points that you need to know in that letter. Once you receive the Section 129 notice, you generally have about 10 business days. So business day, Mr. K, is working days. It excludes public holidays. It excludes weekends. So you've got 10 business days to act. And that includes approaching a debt counselor. So the bank even gives you the option to say, listen, maybe you are behind. We are here to draw your attention that you are behind. You have the right to seek assistance if you are struggling to pay your debts. And one of those methods is approaching a debt counselor. And if you don't do that in 10 days, the bank needs to act. Yeah. So after 10 further days, they can take legal enforcement.
Mm-hmm. And the reality is that many South Africans are so under pressure right now.
That's absolutely correct, Mr. K. The recent Credit Bureau monitoring reports are showing us that at least 10 million people, South Africans, have impaired credit records. What does that mean? That means 10 million credit active consumers on arrears with at least one account for more than 3 months. So household debt remains very high. Yes, we've seen interest rates come down. Yes, the fuel price came down for a little. Now we're sitting with this big scare that it might go up again next month. Yeah. And people are struggling with the rising living cost, and their salaries didn't increase as much. So we know that overdue home loan balances in South Africa have increased significantly. That means many homeowners are already behind on their bonds. Or maybe you short paid. When those interest rates went up, you didn't up your installment because maybe you couldn't afford it. And then that arrears just kept on creeping in, becoming bigger. That snowball happened. And that's exactly why acting early is so important. The earlier you deal with the problem, the more solutions there are, and the sooner it can be sorted out.
1644 on the Buffalo Toyota Afternoon Drive. Joined here in studio by Casper Lagrange from DCGsa. Now, Casper, you have some financial scriptures that you'd like to share with us that hits close to home with this topic, right?
Yes, Mr. K. And there's a verse that I really like because it speaks directly about delaying action. And this is from the Bible book that I always struggle to pronounce.
Okay, let's go.
Ecclesiastes 11 verse 4.
Well done.
So hopefully they won't forget it now. The one that Casper always struggles to pronounce. Whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks at the clouds will not reap. I'm going to read that again. Mm-hmm. Whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks at the clouds will not reap. In other words, if we keep waiting for perfect conditions, we may never take the action that protects our future. Financially, I see this all the time. People keep waiting for the perfect moment, a bonus, a new job, that increase, that miracle that's going to come, or that windfall that's going to come. And meanwhile, those arrears keep on growing. So the wisdom of this verse is simple. Take action before it becomes too late.
Absolutely. So now, Casper, if someone comes to DCGsa early enough, what can be done to help them protect their home?
I think always, the first step is a free debt assessment. You don't know where you are going if you don't know where you're coming from, if you don't understand your current situation. So we look at the full financial picture, the bond, other debts, monthly income, living expenses. The goal is to see whether we can restructure the debt so that the consumer can afford their repayments again. So one of the big fears people have is they must suddenly pay thousands of rands up front to fix the arrears. And that's the reality. If your bond is in arrears, let's take a 10,000 rand bond. Suddenly you're 3 months behind, that's 30,000 plus legal costs, plus. So yes, it can become very overwhelming. But in many cases, the arrears on a bond can be restructured and spread over time. So making a repayment manageable while protecting the property. So in plain, normal language, we take that arrears and we restructure it over time. So no 30 or 70 or 80,000 that you need to fork out up front. We restructure that in the installment going forward. So at DCGsa, we specialize in helping consumers protect important assets like their homes and their vehicles.
Now, what would you say to somebody listening right now who is already behind on their bond?
Don't wait until the sheriff knocks on your door. Don't wait until that sheriff rocks up at school while dropping off your kids, or even at work, when you sitting with your colleagues and the sheriff rocks up, somebody wants to see you at the reception. And it happens. So don't wait for that. If you are missing payments on your bond, or you are short paying, or you are avoiding calls from a bank, or receiving legal letters, those are warning signs that you should act immediately. The earlier you ask for help, the more options there are to protect your home and to stabilize your finances.
Casper, thank you so much for coming through, and really, really appreciate your time. Casper from DCGsa. If you or someone is worried about losing their home, well, the best step is to get professional help, get professional assessment as soon as possible. And also, don't forget their birthday month comes with a bit of fun and money to be won. Yeah, DCGsa celebrating 15 years this month. So then go ahead and visit the Facebook page or the website for more information on how to win a 2,000 Rand Take a Lot voucher or other prizes that are up for grabs as well. So, Casper, where can people get a hold of you for that free debt assessment?
So, naturally, call 086 100 1047 or send us a WhatsApp 061 432 8499. I'm going to give that WhatsApp number again because I know lots of you are sitting at the office or at home with your phone in front of you. So, pop us a WhatsApp 061 432 8499 or send us an email help@dcgsa.co.za.
And that is it for Money Matters for this afternoon. Thank you so much. Casper, have yourself a fantastic weekend. And we'll catch up again soon. We seem to be seeing each other outside of the studio sometime. So, we'll see.
That's always good, eh?
It is.
It's good.
Even if it's in the parking lot. Blessings, Casper.
Have a blessed one, Mr. K. Bye-bye.